Hello, TAP 605 students. I'm so excited for you. You're getting ready to write your very first lesson plan. My name is Jennifer Kolb. I'm the literacy coordinator, and I'm going to walk you step by step through the abbreviated structured literacy lesson plan. Here we go. All right. So within this course already, you have watched a three-part video series on the science of reading. The science of reading is all about the wealth of research there is on how kids learn to read. It's a pretty complex process. And knowing that information, utilizing that, you will use structured literacy to help teach your students how to read and how to think while they're reading. So, structured literacy is a highly explicit and systematic teaching approach that's based on the science of reading and the five pillars of literacy. In this lesson plan, you are completing an abbreviated structured literacy lesson plan. That's because we're not including all of the components. The reason for this is that it's your very first lesson plan. We wanted to simplify things for you. So you'll be including vocabulary and comprehension and writing your lesson plan with explicit instruction and practicing those skills. It's going to be great. All right, so the very first part of your lesson plan, you'll notice it says lesson plan logistics. There's good news here. In Module 2, you completed an activity titled Planning for Your Abbreviated Structured Literacy Lesson. In that activity, you completed all of the beginning portions of the logistics. So you can take those answers that you put within that planning activity and plug them straight into your lesson plan template. So you've already chosen a text that you're going to base your lesson on. You've already chosen a standard and an objective and written those and gotten approval from your instructor that you're on the right path. So put those in the lesson plan template, and you should then be ready for your instructional sequence. All right, so you're going to begin your lesson plan with an engage or a hook. Literacy is exciting and should be, and should grasp the attention of your children. And the way that you do that can be in lots of different ways, but have it be creative and have it be fun so that they connect that with literacy. You could dress up as a character. You could have just an item that is going to be something that kind of hints to what the book that you're reading is going to be about. You could post a picture and have students do a notice and wonder. I wonder, what do you notice and what do you wonder about this picture to get students thinking about the topic that the text is about? All of this accesses background knowledge, which is important to helping your students retain information that they're learning. So it is extremely important to have an engage and a hook that matters for your students. There is a folder with resources in this module for you to look through and to get ideas from. Write out your instruction here and how you're going to hook your students. All right. So then you'll head into the vocabulary section of your lesson plan. The vocabulary is at the beginning. You're going to give your students the word, and you're going to pronounce it and have them pronounce it back to you. You might break that word up by syllables or talk about the word and how it's spelled, and then give them a student-friendly definition. Be really intentional about this. Make sure that it's a definition that makes sense to your age group of learners. Sometimes when you look words up in the definitions in the dictionary, you don't even understand what they mean. So make sure that it is simplified and it's something that your students will understand. Also, make sure that it is a vocabulary word that is going to build your students' vocabulary. It needs to be something that your learners are not familiar with and that it will stretch them to learn new words. Our learners need to gain 2,000 to 3,000 words in a grade level. If you are intentional about your teaching and intentional about the words that you choose to explicitly instruct your students about, they'll be closer to the 3,000, and that's what we want. So Within this vocabulary, you are going to utilize a framework that's modeled, guided, and independent. Or I do, we do, you do. You are going to give the information to them about the word and the definition. Then you're going to have them do something together. So, together, you might write a sentence utilizing that vocabulary word. And then you'll have them do something independently. Like they might turn and talk to a neighbor and use that word in a sentence independently, and in their own vocabulary and conversation. And you can go around and make sure they're using the word right. This allows for gradual release for the students to gain that knowledge. This is what explicit instruction is. So think about how you can model those vocabulary words, guide your students into using them, and then give them an opportunity to independently use them. Okay, the next is the middle, and this is the comprehension. This is where you really are going to read the text and get your students to think about the text. In this section, depending upon your grade level of learners, you might strictly do a read aloud, and you are reading the story to your students. You might have older students, and you might be able to read the beginning part of the story and then have students partner read some of the story and then have them independently read part of the story. It really kind of depends on your grade level, how you set it up. Within this comprehension section, though, you must have good questioning and you have to think about the questions that you ask your learners while you're reading or while they're reading. Things for them to think about be before, during, after you're reading. This activates their background knowledge. This gets them to think through what's happening in the story and gives you a platform and an opportunity to discuss things like character development and plot development, all those different things. Be certain that you are thinking ahead and including those questions in your lesson plan. Very, very important. Another thing that you might do is think aloud while you're reading aloud. Um, Tell your students what's going on while you're reading, what you're thinking, so that they understand that when you're reading, you should be thinking as well, and they understand what that might look like for themselves. That's a really good practice. Next is assessment. Now, in the activity that you did in Module 2, there were some choices for different assessments, and they were actually by grade level. If you look here, this is exactly what was on that assignment. There are some pre-K suggestions and then some elementary suggestions. For this lesson plan, we want you to choose from these choices for your assessment. Now, you'll have to give some more information. How is that going to look? When are you going to provide the opportunity for their assessment, for them to show you that they understood or to show you what they know, show you that they have met the objective that you set? Assessment should always go back to your objective and should always show and be evidence of what your students know. This helps you to gauge if your students understood what you were trying to teach them, or if you need to go back and you need to do some reteaching. And it's very valuable and very important that you think through how students are going to show you their understanding. All right. And then the future content knowledge. So think ahead. What should the next lesson look like? They've just learned this concept. So the next concept should be about this and utilize the standards to help you make this decision and the grade level of your learners. All right. So that's the entire instructional sequence, and you can use bullets to put your information in there. You can write it out narrative. Do what makes the most sense to you. All right. You will be submitting your lesson plan for review on September 21st by 11:59 p.m. You'll be giving that, turning that in your internship course, and your internship instructor will be giving you feedback on your lesson plan. So you'll get some information, and you'll also be sending this lesson plan to your success coach. So send it to your success coach by email. And you will then gather a whole bunch of suggestions or maybe ideas from both of these experts who are teachers, are either teachers now or have been teachers in the classroom. So take their feedback and put it to use. The way that you'll do this is by making adjustments in your lesson plan. When you make those adjustments, make sure you highlight the changes that you put in your lesson plan. That makes it easy for your internship instructor to see the changes that you've made and to know right where to look. It'll help us be more efficient in getting information back to you. So those changes, the revisions are due October 5th by 11:59 p.m. Now, you got this. You've got this. You're going to do great. Think about it. This first lesson plan, when you turn it in, you're going to get a chance to make some adjustments and to turn it back in again. So it's kind of like a draft, a working draft. Do your best work, but then don't be stressed because you're going to work at it and make it even better. And this is exactly what teachers do all the time. They think about what their lesson's going to be, and then they make changes and adjustments as they go along. And it's really good practice to get this framework in your mind so that when you are a full-time classroom teacher, you know the steps that need to happen for excellent instruction. We will also be hosting a meeting for all of you if you would like to attend to discuss your lesson plan and kind of get some ideas or just ask questions. And we'll all be posting that in the announcements to let you know what time and what day and have the link there for you. So if you want to attend that, please do and reach out to your instructor for help if you have questions or if you need support. You're also welcome to reach out to me if you have specific literacy questions. We're here for you and we're excited for you and can't wait to see your work.